In my flat, we have a small obsession with deck building games. Oh, just a tiny bit. Just a tiny bit. However, most of these come in large, cumbersome boxes, which are just difficult to move around, and you just gotta sit down and play them. That's where Star Realms comes in, a delightfully tiny boxed game that is filled with fun on an interstellar level. Now we'll get onto these two in a second, but first we'll start with the basic Star Realms, which is a deck building card drafting game, which means over the course of the game, you and your foe will start out with the exact same decks, but slowly and surely buy new cards to improve your decks individually, your own personalized decks, and gradually battle at one another until eventually you defeat your foe by blasting them to bits in space. It's a two-player game in which you and your foe are sort of galactic space empires or omnipotent space entities in which you're both trying to use the 4 unique factions to try and kill each other. Sounds simple enough on paper, but you also do start with the exact same 10 cards, which are 2 Vipers and 8 Scouts. You'll shuffle these into one deck, and whoever's been into space last goes first. Generally, you'll start each go with a hand of 5 cards, and each of your cards will have potentially a variety of symbols on them, such as a damage indicator, which obviously shows how much damage you're going to do, or even possibly a little money symbol, which is how much money you get that turn, which allows you to buy other ships from the market, such as this embassy yacht. And finally, these little green icons, which regain you health, or authority, but it's basically your health. At the end of your turn, the cards you purchased and played are all discarded into your discard, and you draw 5 cards again. Then, once you've played all your cards in your deck, and you have to draw when you have no more cards, you basically combine everything together, shuffle them, and then just continue again, cycling through the game, slowly building up your deck, slowly getting better cards, making it a good machine. It's as simple as that. Now, where Star Realms is at least somewhat unique in the card drafting deck building scheme is the aforementioned 4 factions, in which you've got the red machine worshipping machine cult, the yellow imperialistic Star Empire, the commerce focused blues with the Trade Federation, and finally the mysterious and weird blobs, a mysterious organic swarm that may be riding in the ships or are entities unto themselves, like a giant space whale. No one knows. The only other thing to sort of pay attention to are these little ally ability markers on the bottom of the cards, which basically mean that if you play 2 or more cards in the same turn with the same colour, it'll activate that additional ability, which just means that more things unfold on your turns. So while you may start out the game just kind of picking up random cards here and there, basically whatever affordable, before you know it, you'll start honing in on a specific deck, and you'll be feverishly snapping up those blobs. Give me the blobs, give me the blob, give me the blob. Thank you. The only thing else to look out for is bases and outposts, which are turned sideways to separate them from all the other stuff. With these, once you've finished your go, instead of discarding them like all your other ships, they stay out on the battlefield. So when it gets around to your turn again, if they're still around, you can then use their abilities again, and they trigger ally abilities, and they're incredibly useful. They have their own health as well, so like Brain World, if you want to destroy it, you have to do 6 damage in a single turn to get rid of it. So they can be quite chunky things that just get in the way of your enemy's plans. Outposts on top of this though also block any damage to the player until they've been destroyed. So they're a bit like a taunt in Hearthstone basically. So you'll be trying to slim your deck down, trashing cards that you no longer need in order to create a deadly machine to kill your friends with. And it's such a simple, wonderful game that you can easily take extra trips on you. Teach them how to play the game, and then play several games on the train over and over and over again. However, that is partly due to decades of privatisation of the rail services, leading to a service that is just less than satisfactory, rife with delays. But spaceships. By focusing on one faction, a lot of the time you end up building into these incredible combos that will leave everyone on the table just in awe, as they're just stunned by just how impressive what you've done actually is. An example. Your foe has a blob wheel and brain world left over from the previous turn. You look at your hand and you can't blast your way through. You've drawn 3 scouts, which is less than ideal. You play a survey ship to draw a card, and then into a corvette to draw another card, another corvette, draw a card, another survey ship to draw yet another card, and then you can play a dreadnought to draw another card. An Imperial Frigate. Is this the end of it? Just kidding. It's another battle cruiser, which means you can draw a card into a survey ship to draw yet another card, and then finally ending it all off with a recycling station. Their powers combine, forcing your opponent to discard 2 cards. The damage all adds up to a whopping 22, which is enough to destroy the brain world, and the blob wheel, and do a bunch of damage to the opponent. Pew pew! And then, just because you're feeling spicy, you decide to trash 1, 2, 3 survey ships to make the opponent discard 3 more cards, which is the rest of their hand. That goes in the bin, and they don't have anything left to play for the next turn, and it's your go again to go all over again. It's just really good. The great thing as well is if someone else on the table builds one of these incredible decks that gets wildly out of hand and just destroys everything, the game's not actually that long. So it's only a matter of time until you can play again, reset, and start creating your own blobby deck to get your revenge. If I had to level one complaint at the game though, it's quite a major one, and that it is that the health tracking system is horrifically fiddly. It involves these tiny cards, which are all double-sided as well, in order to keep track of your HP. But it just becomes this annoying process of having to swap up and down between cards, constantly swapping stuff around, like you're trying to deal with the most frustrating customer trying to give them change. So you gain 2 HP, easy peasy, 2 1s, that's simple enough. Then, you're gaining another 3, okay, I'll just take all these 1s away and replace them with a single 5, that makes sense. Although to be honest, whilst I'm here, I might as well take these 2 5s away and replace them with a single 10. Although next turn I'm going to do 2 damage, so get rid of that 10, bring back the 5, as well as a couple of 1s. No way, I've done an additional 9 damage, so we're gonna have to end up breaking up this 20 into a bunch of other stuff. It is so needlessly fiddly, but thankfully there is a free mobile phone app you can download that's basically just a really easy and convenient point tracker. Honestly, get this, save yourself just unlimited levels of hassle. My God. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going into space. There are 2 additional boxes. You have Colony Wars and Frontiers. Now, are they standalone expansions or expansions themselves and standalone games and whatnot? Yes and yes. You see, each one can basically play by itself. You just play Star Realms, but with a different set of cards. It's easy. However, sometimes you can combine them together with the other ones in order to have enough components for 4 or more players. Now, the question is though, which one's the best one to get? Well, Colony Wars was one of the first games that we got in my flat, so it kind of always holds a special place in my heart. However, I generally probably suggest to get Frontiers over everything. It's the newer thing, and sure, it comes in a larger box. In theory, you could fit both the boxes in this game alone. However, it comes with enough components to inherently play 4 players, as well as containing these super powerful AI creature boss monsters that are just interesting challenges to play against. But then, there's also just nothing inherently wrong in owning all of them. They're all relatively cheap and add enough diversity that whenever you want to play a bit Star Realms, you can choose which game you want to play, which deck you want to play with. The cards are all enough, there's enough difference to all the cards that things are always quite new and interesting. But at the same time, you could always just combine them into one giant deck. I can't. It'd be far too weird. The art on the cards may also seem a little mundane at first, however you'll soon fall in love with the likes of the Moonworm, or the Nanobot Swarm, or even my personal favourite, the Stellar Reef. And that is Star Realms. It's such an impressively simple game that comes in such a tiny box that it's quick enough to learn that you could easily teach it to someone, play a game, and still have space within a half hour to play another game. It's that simple, but at the same time, there's plenty of room to still explore and develop interesting and weird things and just enjoy it. Or, more like there's enough space